What NF does is it causes tumors to spontaneously form on your peripheral nerves, anywhere in your body without notice. I had a promising basketball career ahead of me, but that all came to an abrupt end after having my first cancer and NF-related operation at the young age of 16. That surgery had benched me indefinitely, and shortly thereafter it took me out of the game for good. And this couldn't have been happening at a worse time, because in that current time I was watching my mother. And I don't know who your mother is in your life, but my mother was my mother and my father. And I'm watching my mother lose her battle and her fight and ultimately her life to AIDS and HIV, which literally, not figuratively speaking, it literally transformed my life into that of an orphan overnight. And this devastated me. And I'd be lying to you if I said it didn't. But you see, grief and pain and the ability to overcome them, that's not unique or situation specific to me in my life. Because I know everybody in this room can relate to losing someone or something, and maybe have been caused pain or agony because of someone or something. And this oftentimes can be overwhelming, and rightfully so. But do you know what's happening while we're being overwhelmed? Life is still moving. Uh-oh. One of my favorite writers, her name is Regina Bretz. She authored a book called God Never Blinks. And there's an amazing quote in there that sums everything up beautifully. It says, no matter how we feel, we gotta get up, dress up, and show up for life. And that's what I was forced to do. Let's fast forward about 8 years. Me and basketball had pretty much parted ways, and honestly, I wasn't really happy with the way my life was going, because basketball was all I had. When I lost my mother, I didn't deal with that pain, and I reverted to drugs and alcohol. And that ended me up in a suicide attempt in '99. And it was through that hospitalization that I got introduced to weight training and proper nutrition, or what I thought was proper nutrition. I believe we're only as good as the information we had, and the information I had was meat, dairy, yeast, and sugar, and casein, 10,000 calories a day, 40 pounds of chicken breast a month. Whey protein, casein, all day, every day. That was my life. I was 300 pounds. I was 300 pounds at the beginning of this journey. I'm a comfortable 200 pounds right now. But my disease, I had took it for granted, or rather, I had pretended like it wasn't there. But I was fueling my tumors through my diet. I started a marketing company. Life was going amazing. I brokered time for airtime. I brokered time for Clear Channel and CBS, and was doing very well, promoting all over the United States. A green living music tour, but wasn't living the green life. Let me tell you how karma works. I'm making thousands and thousands of dollars, but eating and living the life total opposite that I'm making the money from. I made $400,000 in one night through an amazing conference that I put on with the University of Florida. It was called the Be Seen Being Green College Tour, where I partnered with their sustainability department, and then I got two of the artists that were hot at that time, Trey Songz and Fabulous, and we threw on this amazing show, but I wasn't living the life. I made a lot of money, and God sat me down in 2012. I find myself on my knees at the University of Chicago. I hadn't gone to see my doctor in 18 years for the simple fact that what I didn't tell you is my promising basketball career only ended because he told me that it was a minimal surgery. See, I'm one of those pre-existing condition cases, meaning that they hadn't covered people with my disease my entire life. People have opinions about Barack Obama, but they might have did 3 free surgeries, but I'm at 11 operations, 385 tumors removed to date. The biggest one, 2 pounds, 7 centimeters. And that was all. I'm at $4 million in a little over 5 years. I got to that hospital, and the doctor that I hadn't seen, I didn't want to have him paged, but I did, because I was literally on my knees crying. It felt like a cat was tearing his way out of my back. I'll never forget it. And my pride and ego kept me away from talking to this man. I know I have a disease that's going to kill me. I didn't know how bad it was, but I knew that this was the end, would be my disease. They paged the doctor. He came downstairs. The same guy in the picture. He's like, D, I thought you were dead. I said, well, Doc, I kind of tried to kill myself, and I had a very rough, like 12 years, because I felt like you lied to me as far as explaining the severity of the surgery, because I wouldn't have done the surgery. And when my mother died, I would have been able to lean on my basketball team, you know, and get me through that turbulent time. But I lost basketball and the one woman that was my mother and my father in 60 days. And I just gave up on life. And I feel like if you were honest with me, I wouldn't have let you do the surgery. I would have waited until I got into college. And we hashed it out, we hugged, and you know, he apologized, he should have talked to me, and we got through that. I needed closure in that. Why are you here, D? Well, there's extreme pain in my back, Doc. And mind you, I am 300 pounds at this time. He takes me upstairs, brings me in the office. He's doing the physical hand examination, and I don't need a mic, right? He's doing the physical hand examination, and after about 5 minutes, he's like, D, I don't feel anything. Now my back is massive, and the tumor was on my spine, so you really couldn't feel it. And after we got to about 8 minutes, he begins to tell me, you know, I think it's just training pains. Like, he's minimizing what I'm saying in the sense that we all know how our body feels, and we all know when our body's not right. And I knew my body wasn't right. And I pretty much made it clear I'm not leaving this hospital until we figure something out. Now, to shut my mouth, not because he believed me, to shut my mouth, he sent me downstairs to get x-rays, to get slides. Now, if you know anything about slides, they usually don't release them until the radiologist writes a report. My slides beat me upstairs. This was all to show me that I'm in there and I'm crazy, and get out of my office, D, you're nuts, you lift 700 pounds, of course your back hurts. This was the narrative he was kind of pushing, but I know it wasn't the training, this was a different type of pain. And as I was walking out of that office, the nurses are cracking jokes. Mr. Muscle Man's complaining about back pain and blah, 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 blah. They're teasing me, it's a joke. I go downstairs, get the slides, they come back up. When I walk back through that room, the entire energy has changed. They're not looking me in the eye. They're looking at their feet. It was just, the energy was thick. He came out of the office, he's looking down. I said, here we go. He brought me in, apologized, pulled my slides up, and there's the picture that you saw depicted in the CBS piece. He sat me down and said, D, I don't really think that that tumor is operable. The University of Chicago generally doesn't do surgery based on what you want them to do. They do it based on successful surgeries before you. They don't just do surgery. And he said, I don't really think, you know, they're gonna allow me to operate on you. But give me 24, 48 hours, I'm gonna talk it over with the board and my boss and my team, and I'll get back to you. It's the longest 24 hours of my life. Walk back through his office doors. The nurses are looking at their feet again. He won't give me eye contact. I say, here we go again. I walk in that office, he sits me down. He says, D, your tumor is positive for MPNST. That's malignant peripheral neurological sheath tumor. If you type that acronym in your phone and the word survivor, I pop up in the entire universe in Google. There is nobody alive on the planet with my sarcoma that does 200 pull-ups every single day. I am 5 years removed. There's nobody here. And all I did was change my behavior and information. I got introduced to master vegan chef David Choi. David Choi is responsible for Phil Jackson, the Bulls coach, being the Zen master, Oprah Winfrey being skinny in the 90s, and the Bulls, no disrespect, Oprah, if you ever see this video, just being absolutely honest. And the Bulls nutritionist, their entire championship run. And, you know, the doc told me, post-operation life expectancy is 0 to 6 years, okay? 0, meaning it's 2 pounds, 7 centimeters like mine, and 6 years, meaning it was atypia or very small, and they caught it early. So, I'm looking at a June death date. This is what he's telling me. You'll probably die, like he's telling me, you're probably gonna die by June. This is in January. And I gotta tell you, that devastated me for about 3 seconds. For 3 seconds, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because in that moment, in that pocket of time, I tapped into my mother. And what I didn't tell you about my mother is that while she was dying, she was in front of my high school with the megaphone, condoms, and HIV prevention literature trying to save my generation. This is why I'm able to do this. I watched the most amazing woman I've ever known dying, smiling, trying to save the planet. This is why I'm able to do this. And I said, she's turning over in her grave that you're even thinking about quitting or even believing this guy knows when you're going to die, like he talked to God. And when I gathered myself, I said, Doc, whatever we got to do, I'm willing to do it. He said, are you sure? I said, yes. That set me up for 8 more back-to-back 9-hour operations. And I was about at a couple hundred tumors then. Start listening to my teacher. Gave up meat, dairy, yeast, and sugar. What he teaches is, no matter what cancer you're fighting, the common denominator is the acidic environment that your body is in. No matter what, cancer cannot thrive in an alkalinic environment. These are facts. But how do you get alkalinic for real? You have to remove the organ fat, the visceral fat, your gut fat, okay? Alkaline water, diets, this and that, it means nothing if you haven't removed the waste that is infecting your body. We have 30 feet from mouth to rectum that's compressed into 6 inches. Just think about this. If you have not chewed every bite of your food 30 times over the course of your life, it is sitting in that 30 feet, and you're being very naive if you think it's not. There's only one way to remove organ fat, and that's by not depositing the same things that put it there in the first place. Meat, dairy, yeast, and sugar. Everything that we were taught is the epitome of nutrition. Like, I followed all the rules. I did everything I was supposed to do, and it gave me cancer. I was already predisposed because I had a tumor disease, and it just helped me. Like, I was already going to get it. They already told me as a child, it's active in your body, and at some point in your life, I just thought I dodged a bullet because it had been 35 years. But they were right. How do I know that it was casein? I'm going to answer all your questions before you ask me. My teacher, this is when I had a little bit of pride and ego, I was still in transition. You know, I'm like this, and he's telling me things that just like cognitive dissonance. I don't know if you're familiar, but that's you having your own preconceived notions and seeing facts and struggling. Like, so I said, how do you know? And he said, I'm not going to argue with you, little boy. That's what he called me. I've been doing this for 40 years. At your next doctor's appointment, ask for the detailed pathology report, and they will show you what the fueling protein was that was fueling your tumor. Sure enough, it was casein. That broke my heart. If you're not and you haven't had that bad doctor's appointment, it is coming. We live in a preservative-filled environment. Eating things that don't leave your body ferment. They create uric acid. Uric acid fuels all disease. Heart disease, diabetes, high cholesterol, cancer. Everything starts in the gut. Everything starts in the gut. Let me say that one more time. Everything starts in the gut. And if you can get your gut health in order, like my cancer's not gone. There's no cure for what I have. There's no cure for a sarcoma. Sarcomas you can only do excisions. The only other survivors are amputees. You can't really cut my spine in half. So when I'm telling this story around the world, McGregor, all of the big greats, they use me as the tangible proof. Like Mike, there's no more extreme case than this right here. A guy with a sarcoma who's had over 385 tumors removed from his body. The only 2 that were malignant were the 2 in 2012 when I was eating meat, dairy, yeast, and sugar. I had 9 surgeries after that, and the only ones that were cancerous were the ones when I was behaving that way. This isn't astrophysics. I'm not lucky. I changed my behavior. There's one more thing. We're talking about acidity. I'm the anti-acidic guy. I love vegans. I'm a vegan at heart. But the animals, for me, is the bonus. My mission, because I'm sick, is for the health and wellness of the person. Not eating the animals is a byproduct of that. Don't get me wrong. But I'm trying to save lives because this is what I told God I was going to do. I said if I live, I'm going to try to inspire 5 to 10 people every day so I can get 5 to 10 more days on this planet. And this is what I do. Wherever I go, I'm trying to touch people because I know it's building merit in this universe. And it's buying days on this planet. You guys got an opportunity. Like this is going to be the death of me. And I'm cool with that. Because I've lived longer than anybody else in my situation. And I still did 200 pull-ups this morning. And I'm doing well, but I know eventually it's going to do what it's supposed to do. But I know that I've shared this information with you all. You're going to share it with other people. I'm not in this for money. I'm not in it for fame. I have a 15-year-old daughter. And I feel like if I don't do this, I'm going to die faster. Man, I'm not special though. The same strength, courage, and determination that's within me, guess what? It's within you too. You just got to find it. And once you find it, you got to activate it. See, for me and everybody in remission, it's about our diagnosis. For you, it might just be about some circumstances in your life that you just don't have control of. But whatever you're facing, do not let it dictate, define, or control your quality of life. Be safe, be peace, be love, and please, please continue to be amazingly you. Thank you so much for listening.